Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and all those who are seeking wisdom for the journey of life. We live in a world that is constantly pulling us in different directions. Everyone wants to know everything about everyone. From social media to casual conversations, the temptation to share every detail of our lives is ever present. But let me remind you, the greatest strength lies not in what you give away, but in what you wisely keep within. There are some things in life, my friends, that you must never share with anyone, no matter how close they are to you. Your vision is perhaps one of the most important things you possess. It is not just an idea or a fleeting thought, it is the very essence of your purpose, the blueprint of your destiny. Every person on this earth is born with a unique vision, something that calls them to live beyond the ordinary and accomplish the extraordinary. But here's the critical point: vision, like a seed, requires time, care, and protection. It must be nurtured in silence, away from the harsh winds of criticism and doubt, before it is ready to be shared with the world. When you first receive a vision, it often comes in an undeveloped form. It may seem distant, even impossible at times. This is because vision reveals itself in stages. Initially, it is fragile, like a newborn child, and exposing it prematurely to the world can be dangerous. The first stages of vision require incubation, a time where it can develop in the safety of your heart and mind. During this time, you may wrestle with doubt, second-guess yourself, or be tempted to share it with others in search of validation. However, wisdom teaches us to guard our vision during these vulnerable stages. Sharing it too early can subject it to forces that may crush it before it even has a chance to grow. One of the reasons you should keep your vision to yourself until it's ready is that not everyone is equipped to understand it. The people around you, no matter how well intentioned, may not have the capacity to see what you see. They might even unintentionally discourage you by pointing out the obstacles rather than the possibilities. Vision is personal. It is between you and the Creator. It is something only you have been given, and because of that, others may not grasp its full potential. They may focus on the practical limitations rather than the divine inspiration that fuels it. This is why it is so crucial to allow your vision the space to develop in its own time without being weighed down by outside opinions. Vision also requires deep internal work. It demands discipline, focus, and resilience. During the early stages, you are working on yourself just as much as you are working on the vision itself. You may need to develop new skills, expand your knowledge, or change your mindset to align with the greatness of the vision. This process is deeply personal and should not be rushed. If you share your vision before you have done the necessary groundwork, you run the risk of being swayed by doubt or negativity from those who cannot see what you are working towards. People may offer well-meaning advice or opinions that, if you are not grounded in your purpose, could lead you off course. Protecting your vision allows you to stay focused and committed to the path that only you are meant to walk. Furthermore, vision requires protection because it is susceptible to the enemy of procrastination and fear. When you share your vision too soon, you may receive feedback that triggers your insecurities. People may point out the risks, the challenges, or even their own failures, which can feed into your doubts. You might begin to second-guess yourself, and what started as a clear vision becomes clouded by hesitation and uncertainty. By keeping your vision to yourself during its formative stages, you give yourself the opportunity to fully believe in it before allowing others to speak into it. You solidify your confidence in what you are called to do, and this inner conviction becomes a shield against doubt and fear. Vision also thrives in an environment of quiet faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When your vision is still in its early stages, it exists primarily in the realm of hope and possibility. It is not yet a tangible reality, but it lives in your heart and mind as something you are working towards. In this state, it is essential to guard it with faith. Faith, like vision, is deeply personal. It is something you must carry within you, often in silence, as you work towards bringing your vision to life. The quiet period of nurturing your vision is a time to build your faith, to strengthen your belief in the unseen, and to prepare for the time when your vision will manifest. There will come a time when your vision is ready to be shared, but that time is not in the beginning. It is after you have done the work, after you have wrestled with your doubts, and after you have built the foundation that will support your vision's growth. At that point, your vision will be strong enough to withstand the criticism, doubts, and challenges that may come. But until then, your vision is sacred. It is something to be protected, nurtured, and developed in the quiet spaces of your heart and mind. Protect it until it is fully grown, and only then will it have the strength to stand on its own. Your weaknesses are an inherent part of your humanity. No matter how strong, skilled, or wise you may be, you have areas in your life where you are vulnerable, where you struggle, and where you feel the weight of imperfection. These weaknesses, however, are not meant to be broadcasted to the world. They are parts of your inner being that should be handled with great care, guarded from exposure, because not everyone who encounters them will use that knowledge with good intentions. One of the most important things to understand about weaknesses is that not everyone who is close to you can handle your vulnerabilities with the care they deserve. Sometimes, people may seem supportive on the surface, but can be driven by their own insecurities, jealousy, or unspoken agendas. By revealing your weaknesses, you may unintentionally provide them with tools that can be used to manipulate or diminish you. The reality of human nature is that some individuals are drawn to exploiting the weaknesses of others for their own gain, or to elevate themselves in comparison. Therefore, it is critical to be discerning about who you allow into the inner chambers of your life. The danger of sharing your weaknesses prematurely or with the wrong people is that it can lead to betrayal, judgment, or misunderstanding. Not everyone has the emotional maturity or empathy required to handle someone else's weaknesses. When you open up to the wrong individuals, they may not offer you support, but instead hold those weaknesses over your head. They may judge you for your vulnerabilities or even gossip about you to others. This type of betrayal can deeply wound your spirit and shake your confidence, making it even harder to overcome those weaknesses. Therefore, guarding your weaknesses is an act of self-preservation. It is about protecting yourself from unnecessary harm that could derail your progress. Moreover, sharing your weaknesses with those who lack integrity can be particularly dangerous in competitive environments. Whether in the workplace, in business, or even among friends, some people may seek to gain an advantage by capitalizing on the areas where you struggle. They might use your weaknesses against you in subtle or overt ways, undermining your reputation, diminishing your influence, or positioning themselves in a better light. These individuals are not concerned with your well-being. They are driven by their own self-interest. In such cases, revealing your weaknesses becomes a liability rather than opportunity for growth. That's why wisdom calls for discretion. Guarding your weaknesses, however, does not mean you should live in isolation or pretend to be invincible. Everyone needs help. And there are times when sharing your struggles is necessary for healing, growth, or support. But it's essential to share with discernment. There are people in your life who have earned the right to see your vulnerabilities, who have proven themselves to be trustworthy, empathetic, and committed to your well-being. These individuals are rare, and they will handle your weaknesses with care, offering support, guidance, and understanding. Identifying these safe spaces requires wisdom and careful observation over time. They are the ones who will help you grow without exploiting your fragility. It's also crucial to understand that weaknesses are not permanent markers of failure. They are areas for growth. Every great individual has weaknesses, but the difference lies in how they manage them. Some people take advantage of the privacy they've given to their weaknesses and work on them quietly, seeking the right mentors, coaches, or confidants to help them strengthen those areas. By keeping your weaknesses guarded, you give yourself the opportunity to grow in private, away from the judgment and expectations of others. This allows you to transform your weaknesses into strengths at your own pace, without the pressure of external opinions weighing you down. Additionally, it's important to acknowledge that everyone has weaknesses, but not everyone is transparent about them. Many people project an image of strength, hiding their own struggles behind facades of confidence and success. If you share your weaknesses too freely, you may inadvertently make yourself vulnerable to those who are not as transparent. They may use your openness to their advantage while keeping their own struggles hidden. In this way, oversharing your weaknesses can create an imbalance in relationships or professional environments where you are left feeling exposed while others maintain an air of invulnerability. The temptation to share your weaknesses often arises from a desire for connection or validation. It's natural to want to be understood, to seek comfort in the empathy of others, but not everyone is equipped to provide that. The desire to connect should be balanced with the wisdom to protect. Sometimes the validation we seek from others needs to come from within. Learning to accept your own weaknesses without needing external approval is a powerful form of self-awareness and growth. When you guard your weaknesses, you take control of your narrative, choosing when and how to share them with those who have earned your trust. Guarding your weaknesses is not about pretending to be perfect or avoiding vulnerability altogether. It's about recognizing that vulnerability is sacred and should be shared with great care. Not everyone has the maturity, empathy, or integrity to handle your weaknesses, and revealing them to the wrong people can cause unnecessary pain and setbacks. By keeping your weaknesses guarded, you protect your emotional and mental well-being, allowing yourself the space to grow and transform in private. In the right time, with the right people, your weaknesses can become sources of strength. But until then, guard them, because not everyone will use that knowledge for good. Your financial status is one of the most personal aspects of your life. Whether you find yourself in a season of abundance or facing financial challenges, it is crucial to keep this part of your life private. In a world where people are often judged by what they have or what they don't have, sharing too much about your financial situation can invite unnecessary interference, opinions, and at times even exploitation. Money, while necessary for living, also has a way of influencing relationships, decisions, and perceptions in ways that can complicate your life if not handled with discretion. In times of financial struggle, sharing too much about your hardships can expose you to judgment or pity, neither of which is productive. While it is important to seek help if needed, broadcasting your struggles can lead to unsolicited advice, criticism, or even gossip. People may start to view you through the lens of your financial difficulties, overshadowing your true abilities, character, and potential. Some might even distance themselves from you, treating your financial struggles as a reflection of your worth. It can also lead to uncomfortable situations where people feel compelled to offer you help even if you haven't asked for it, creating a dynamic of dependence or obligation. Moreover, not everyone who hears about your financial struggles will have your best interests at heart. There are individuals who may take advantage of your vulnerable situation for their own gain. This could be through exploitative business offers, unfair financial arrangements, or even personal manipulation. Some may see your struggles as an opportunity to exert control or power over you, knowing that you may feel pressure to accept terms or conditions you wouldn't ordinarily consider if you were in a more stable financial position. By keeping your financial status private during times of struggle, you protect yourself from those who might prey on your vulnerability. On the other hand, sharing your financial successes too freely can also create challenges. Wealth, or even the appearance of it, tends to attract attention, some of it positive, but much of it unwanted. When people perceive you as financially well off, they may begin to make assumptions about your life that are neither accurate nor fair. You may be viewed as a resource, with people coming to you for loans, investments, or even favors, assuming that your wealth is there to solve their problems. While generosity is a virtue, the constant pressure to provide for others or be involved in their financial situations can become a burden. Additionally, revealing your wealth too openly can attract envy and resentment. Not everyone will celebrate your success. Some may harbor jealousy or ill feelings, which can damage relationships, both personal and professional. Even those who were once close to you might start to see you through the lens of competition, comparing their financial standing to yours and allowing it to affect their perception of your relationship. In this way, financial transparency can lead to a shift in how people interact with you, sometimes creating distance or tension where there was once connection. Furthermore, sharing your wealth openly can also invite unnecessary attention from people or institutions that may try to involve you in schemes, scams, or high-risk investments. When others know you have money, they may approach you with offers that seem too good to be true, using your financial success as a target for manipulation. This can lead to situations where your wealth is jeopardized or where you feel the pressure to invest in things that don't align with your values or long-term goals. Keeping your financial status private helps protect you from these kinds of external pressures and allows you to make decisions based on wisdom, not on the expectations or solicitations of others. In both seasons of struggle and seasons of abundance, your financial status should remain a personal matter because money has a profound influence on how others perceive you and interact with you. It can change dynamics in relationships, sometimes distorting genuine connections. Friendships can become transactional, family relationships strained, and even professional relationships complicated when finances are openly discussed. People who were once supportive may feel alienated, either because they feel inferior during your success or because they pity you during your struggle. Money, when made too public, has a way of shifting the focus away from who you are and placing it on what you have or don't have. Moreover, financial privacy allows you to live with a sense of peace and freedom. When you don't disclose your financial situation, you retain control over your personal and professional choices. You are free to make decisions without the interference of others' opinions, without the pressure to live up to expectations, and without the constant scrutiny that can come when your finances are a matter of public knowledge. Whether you are building wealth or managing through financial difficulties, this privacy allows you the space to focus on your goals without the distraction of outside judgment or unsolicited input. Your financial status, whether it reflects wealth or struggle, is not something that should define you in the eyes of others. It is a deeply personal aspect of your life that deserves protection. By keeping it private, you safeguard your relationships, protect yourself from exploitation, and maintain control over your personal journey. Finances, though important, should not become a source of public conversation or a measure of your value. Keep them private, and you will find that you can navigate both the highs and the lows with greater wisdom, freedom, and peace. Your future plans are the roadmap to where you're going in life. They represent your aspirations, dreams, and the next steps in your journey towards success and fulfillment. However, as exciting as they may be, sharing your future plans too early can be risky. It's tempting to tell others about the big things you're working toward, but wisdom calls for restraint. The truth is, when you reveal your plans, Prematurely, you expose them to forces that may not always have your best interests at heart. Negativity, jealousy, and the opinions of others can easily derail even the best laid plans if you are not careful. When you're in the early stages of planning, your vision for the future is still delicate. It's like planting a seed before it grows roots. It's vulnerable to the elements. Similarly, your future plans are vulnerable to the opinions and influences of others, many of whom may not share your vision or enthusiasm. They may not understand the depth of your calling or the process you're going through. As a result, their feedback, even if well-meaning, can dampen your motivation or cause you to question your path. This is especially true when your plans are unconventional, ambitious, or require stepping outside the norm. The greater your vision, the more likely it is that others may respond with skepticism or doubt. Sharing your plans too early also invites negativity from people who may harbor jealousy or insecurity. Unfortunately, not everyone will be happy to see you succeed. Some may feel threatened by your ambition or progress, fearing that your success highlights their own lack of achievement. This jealousy can manifest as subtle discouragement, harsh criticism, or even outright sabotage. People may downplay your dreams, point out potential failures, or try to make you doubt your abilities, all to protect their own fragile egos. The danger here is that if you're not deeply rooted in your confidence, their negativity can seep into your mind and affect your belief in yourself. Jealousy, in particular, can be an insidious force. People who are envious of your potential may disguise their true feelings with false concern or even mockery. They might tell you that you're being unrealistic, that your goals are too far-fetched, or that you're not cut out for the path you've chosen. While you may initially be confident, repeated exposure to such negativity can erode your faith in your own abilities. Even the strongest individuals can be swayed by the persistent doubt of those around them. By keeping your future plans private until they are more developed, you protect yourself from this harmful influence. Another reason to keep your future plans to yourself is that sharing them can create unnecessary pressure. When you make your plans public, you create expectations. People will start watching and waiting for you to take action, to achieve results, and to deliver on what you said you would do. This can be both motivating and suffocating. The problem is that life rarely goes exactly according to plan. There are often delays, setbacks, or even changes in direction. When others know your plans, they may start asking questions or demanding updates, which can create anxiety and make you feel rushed or judged. This external pressure can lead you to make hasty decisions or push forward before you're ready, all to meet the expectations of others rather than moving at your own pace. Moreover, sharing your plans too soon can sometimes open doors to interference from people who feel the need to offer unsolicited advice. While advice can be helpful when it comes from the right people, not everyone is equipped to guide you toward your goals. Some people will project their own fears and limitations onto you, steering you away from what you're meant to do. Others may try to impose their own ideas of success, pushing you to take paths that align with their values rather than your own. This interference can dilute your vision, causing you to lose focus or stray from your original purpose. By keeping your plans private, you protect them from being reshaped by the opinions and agendas of others. Additionally, sharing your plans too early can sometimes attract the wrong kind of attention. People may try to latch onto your vision, either to benefit from it or to claim a piece of it for themselves. This can be especially problematic in professional or business settings, where sharing your plans could inspire competition or encourage others to steal your ideas. Even in personal relationships, revealing your plans can sometimes result in others trying to co-opt your vision, wanting to be involved in ways that may not align with your goals. When your plans are still forming, you need the freedom to focus without the distraction of managing others' involvement or interference. The best time to share your future plans is when they are solid, when you have laid the groundwork and built the foundation necessary for them to succeed. At this stage, you are no longer vulnerable to the opinions of others because you've already done the internal work to believe in your path. Your plans are no longer just ideas, they are backed by preparation, experience, and confidence. By waiting until you have made significant progress before sharing, you minimize the risk of negativity or interference derailing your journey. You will be in a stronger position to respond to any criticism or jealousy, and you will have the momentum to keep moving forward regardless of what others say. Keeping your future plans private during their formative stages allows you to protect them from negativity, jealousy, and unwanted pressure. It gives you the space to develop them without external influence and to build the confidence you need to see them through to completion. Your personal secrets are the most intimate aspects of your life, the parts of yourself that you choose to keep hidden from the world. These secrets may include your past mistakes, your struggles, or private moments that define who you are. They are deeply personal, and sharing them carelessly can bring disruption to your peace and integrity. In a time when transparency and oversharing have become common, it's crucial to remember that not everything about your life is meant to be public. Protecting your personal secrets is essential if you wish to maintain your inner peace and safeguard your reputation. When you share personal secrets with the wrong people, you run the risk of those secrets being used against you. Not everyone you confide in will value your privacy or have your best interests at heart. People change, relationships shift, and what was once shared in confidence can be exposed out of malice, carelessness, or even by mistake. Personal secrets once revealed cannot be taken back. The moment someone else knows your private matters, you lose control over how that information is handled or interpreted. There are countless stories of trust being betrayed, where once close friends or even family members reveal private matters in times of conflict, using your personal life as a weapon. Furthermore, sharing your personal secrets can lead to a loss of integrity in the eyes of others. People often build perceptions of you based on what they know and see. And while no one is perfect, revealing too much about your private life can alter how others perceive your character. Everyone has made mistakes or has struggles they'd rather not be judged for, but when those things are exposed, it can overshadow your accomplishments and strengths. The problem is not that people don't understand imperfection, but that society tends to focus more on flaws than on the overall picture of a person's character. In some cases, personal secrets, when revealed, can lead to unnecessary gossip, judgment, or even exclusion from opportunities, simply because people cannot see past what you've shared. By protecting your personal secrets, you also maintain your own peace of mind. There is a sense of calm and security that comes with knowing that your innermost struggles, vulnerabilities, or private moments are not the subject of conversation. When you keep these matters private, you prevent the stress that comes from wondering who knows what or how your secrets might be used. You avoid the potential of being judged, misunderstood, or even ridiculed for parts of yourself that are meant to be personal. This peace allows you to move through life without the added burden of external scrutiny, giving you the freedom to focus on what truly matters to you. In today's digital age, oversharing has become a common issue. Social media platforms, in particular, encourage people to reveal more and more about their personal lives, often blurring the lines between public and private. While it may feel validating to share personal details online or in casual conversation, this type of sharing can open the door to unwanted consequences. What might seem like a moment of vulnerability or honesty can quickly turn into something that spirals out of control, with your personal secrets becoming fodder for public discussion or gossip. Once out in the open, these secrets can be hard to contain as information spreads rapidly and uncontrollably in today's connected world. Additionally, maintaining discretion about your personal secrets allows you to preserve your relationships in a healthier way. There are things about your life that others simply do not need to know, whether they are friends, family, or colleagues. Oversharing can burden relationships, making people uncomfortable, or even changing how they relate to you. Everyone has boundaries, and while it's natural to want to connect deeply with others, sharing too much can sometimes overwhelm or distance people, especially if they are not prepared to handle the weight of what you've revealed. Keeping your private matters to yourself helps you maintain those boundaries, ensuring that your relationships remain respectful and balanced. Moreover, protecting your personal secrets is also a way of honoring your own story. Your life's journey, including the mistakes you've made or the hardships you've faced, belongs to you. There is power in selectively choosing when, how, and with whom you share certain details of your life. Some secrets are meant to be shared in the right context and with the right people, perhaps for healing, growth, or deeper connection. But this should always be a choice made with wisdom and intention, rather than feeling pressure to reveal personal information for validation or acceptance. When you guard your secrets, you retain control over your narrative, deciding what parts of your life are open for discussion and what parts remain sacred. Additionally, sharing personal secrets with the wrong people can leave you vulnerable to manipulation. There are those who, upon learning sensitive information about you, may use it to influence or control you in subtle ways. This can happen in relationships, in the workplace, or even in social circles, where someone might leverage your personal secrets to gain the upper hand. By keeping your personal matters private, you protect yourself from this kind of manipulation. You retain power over your life, your choices, and your decisions without the fear that someone will exploit your vulnerabilities. In essence, protecting your personal secrets is not about hiding who you are or being deceptive. It's about understanding that some parts of your life are meant to remain private for your own peace, well-being, and protection. Not everyone needs to know everything about you, and by keeping certain aspects of your life out of the public eye, you safeguard your peace and integrity. Secrets are a natural part of life, and their purpose is to allow you to manage the complexities of your personal experiences in a way that feels safe, controlled, and respectful to yourself. Thank you. There is a universal truth that we often overlook, and it is this: the chosen are always the ones hated. The moment you step into your purpose, the moment you realize that you have been set apart for something greater, opposition will arise. Not from strangers in far-off lands, but often from those closest to you, your friends, your colleagues, sometimes even your family. To be chosen is not just a privilege, it is a responsibility. It is to be set apart for a purpose, a unique calling that distinguishes you from the crowd. When someone is chosen, they are marked by a certain destiny that others around them may not fully comprehend. This distinction, while it comes with opportunities for greatness, also attracts misunderstanding and opposition. People naturally resist what they do not understand. And when you step into a purpose that is higher than your surroundings, you become a mystery to those who observe your life. The very act of being chosen sets you on a different path. You begin to think differently, move differently, and operate with a sense of urgency and focus that others may not share. This separation creates an invisible line between you and the masses. It's not that you are superior to others, but you carry a vision that not everyone has the eyes to see or the heart to grasp. Your decisions may confuse them, your actions may even seem irrational. What they cannot perceive is that your life is being directed by a calling that goes beyond the ordinary. This misunderstanding is often the root of opposition. People resist change, especially when it challenges their comfort zones or reveals their own lack of direction. When someone is chosen, their very presence can disrupt the status quo, making others uncomfortable. The elevation that comes with being set apart sometimes highlights the areas where others feel stagnant, and rather than seek growth, They may respond with criticism or even hostility. In many cases, the more focused and committed you become to your purpose, the more isolated you will feel from those who once understood you. Your circle of friends may shrink, and those who were once close may distance themselves, not because of anything you've done, but because your journey has taken you to a place they cannot follow. This is the nature of being chosen. It is to walk a path of both great purpose and great challenge. Those who are chosen carry a weight that others may never fully understand, and this can lead to feelings of loneliness and frustration. But it is part of the process of becoming what you were destined to be. The opposition, the misunderstandings, and the distance from others are all refining agents, shaping you into someone who can fulfill a calling that requires strength, resilience, and a focus that transcends the opinions of others. Insecurity breeds hatred. Those who recognize your uniqueness may feel threatened, as your elevation exposes their inadequacies or complacency. When you step into your purpose, the reaction of others is often a reflection of their own internal struggles. Insecurity is the root cause of much of the hatred and opposition directed toward those who are chosen. When people see someone rise above the norm, it can stir a deep sense of inadequacy within them. This discomfort doesn't necessarily come from anything the chosen individual has done intentionally, but from the mirror that their success holds up to others' lives. It is easier to criticize or resent someone else's progress than it is to confront one's own stagnation or missed opportunities. The chosen individual's elevation is often seen as a silent judgment on those who remain where they are. As you advance in your calling, people begin to see what is possible. Your growth becomes a reminder of the goals they haven't achieved or the potential they haven't fulfilled. Instead of being inspired, their insecurities lead them to compare their position to yours. Rather than seeking improvement, they may react with bitterness, deflecting their frustrations onto you. Your progress highlights their complacency, and in that moment, envy takes root. It is not your success that they despise, but the feelings of inadequacy that it awakens within them. Insecurity is a powerful emotion, and when it is left unchecked, it breeds contempt. People often project their internal fears onto others because it is easier to externalize the struggle than to confront it within themselves. The more you grow, the more threatened they feel. And the more threatened they feel, the more likely they are to respond with criticism, gossip, or even outright hostility. The chosen person becomes the target of these attacks, not because they have done anything wrong, but because their very existence becomes a challenge to those who feel left behind. It is crucial to understand that this kind of opposition is not about you. It is about what you represent to others, their unfulfilled dreams, their lack of direction, their missed potential. Insecurity drives people to tear down those who have what they lack. If they can bring you down, they feel less exposed. Purpose attracts resistance. The stronger your sense of purpose, the more opposition you will face. It is not the person who is hated, but the purpose they carry. When someone embraces their purpose with clarity and determination, it naturally attracts resistance. This is an inevitable aspect of stepping into a higher calling. Purpose, by its very nature, disturbs the comfortable and unsettles the complacent. The moment you begin to live with intention and align yourself with something greater than yourself, forces around you begin to push back. The resistance isn't always about you as an individual, rather. It's about the significance of what you represent and what you're trying to achieve. Purpose is a force that brings change, and change is often met with fear and hostility. When you carry a vision that challenges the status quo, people who have settled into a certain way of life feel threatened. Your actions, motivated by your sense of mission, become a disruption to their world. They may question why you are so focused, so driven, or so relentless in your pursuit. They wonder why you can't just go along like everyone else. But the reality is that those who carry purpose cannot live a life of complacency. They are compelled to act, to move, and to disrupt. This resistance often manifests in various forms: criticism, discouragement, and even sabotage. The stronger and clearer your purpose, the more you will encounter people or circumstances trying to derail you. But understand, they are not resisting you as a person. They are resisting the force of purpose that flows through you. The weight of your mission reveals itself as a threat to those who are unwilling or unable to move with the same conviction. It's important to recognize that purpose itself draws conflict, not because of any wrongdoing on your part, but because the mission you carry is powerful. This mission challenges systems, mindsets, and the comfort of mediocrity. Your purpose creates a dividing line between those who are ready to grow and those who would rather remain in their comfort zones. As you pursue your calling, you will find that the resistance grows in direct proportion to the strength of your purpose. The opposition comes because purpose has the power to shift things, whether it's in your community, your workplace, or even within your relationships. Purpose disrupts the patterns of those who prefer stability over progress. The resistance, then, is often not personal. It is a defensive reaction to the possibility of change that your purpose brings. The greater the impact your purpose has, the stronger the opposition will be. Jealousy and envy follow the chosen. Success and favor often bring jealousy from those who feel left behind or overlooked. Hatred is often a reflection of others' insecurities. When someone is chosen and begins to excel, they often find that their success does not only bring admiration, but also stirs feelings of jealousy and envy in others. This is a common response, especially from those who feel that they have been left behind or are overlooked. What we must understand is that success, particularly when it is significant and consistent, can highlight the perceived shortcomings of others. Those who have not found their own purpose, or who feel that life has dealt them an unfair hand, will often look at the success of the chosen with resentment. Jealousy is a complex emotion that usually arises from a sense of inadequacy or a belief that someone else's gain means their loss. When people see someone rise, especially someone they know or are close to, it often reminds them of what they feel they could have been or could have done. Rather than seeking inspiration or learning from the success of others, many people default to envy, allowing it to grow into bitterness and hatred. This is particularly true when they witness a chosen individual receiving favor, whether that be in the form of recognition, promotion, or influence, because it reinforces the feeling that they are being left out or that life is unfair to them. Envy is especially powerful when the success seems effortless. Others may not see the hard work, sacrifices, or struggles that the chosen person has endured to reach their position. All they see is the result, the favor, the achievements, and the opportunities that appear to come without struggle. This perceived ease can provoke intense jealousy because it magnifies the difference between where they are and where they want to be. What they don't realize is that the chosen person's favor comes from walking in their purpose, and purpose always attracts provision. Moreover, jealousy is often compounded by proximity. People are most envious of those who are close to them, who they feel they can directly compare themselves to. A stranger's success may not affect them much, but when a friend, sibling, or colleague begins to rise, it feels personal. They think if they can do it, why not me instead of introspection or self-improvement? This envy turns outward, manifesting in subtle or overt acts of resentment and sabotage. It's essential to recognize that this jealousy and envy aren't truly about the chosen individual, but about the internal struggles of those who feel overlooked. Their hatred is a reflection of their own insecurities and the unaddressed frustrations in their own lives. Often, the chosen person becomes a scapegoat for the dissatisfaction they feel within themselves. As you step into your calling, these reactions are inevitable, but they are not a sign to stop. They are simply the byproducts of the light you carry, exposing the darkness in others. The test of character in adversity, hatred, can refine and strengthen the chosen. Resistance forces you to dig deeper, grow in resilience, and rise above negativity. Hatred and opposition are not merely obstacles on the path of the chosen, they are also crucial tests of character. When you are chosen, the challenges you face often serve as refining agents, shaping you into the person capable of fulfilling your purpose. Every wave of resistance, every negative word, every act of opposition tests not just your ability to persevere, but also the depth of your commitment, integrity, and resilience. Adversity reveals what is truly inside of you and forces you to dig deeper into your reserves of strength and focus. This is why hatred, in many ways, is a necessary part of the journey for the chosen. It pushes you to grow beyond your current capacity, testing your endurance and expanding your ability to withstand pressure. The stronger the resistance, the stronger you become. Those who are chosen are often placed in situations that demand a level of patience, wisdom, and perseverance that others may never have to develop. You are forced to rise above negativity, not by ignoring it, but by allowing it to shape you into someone who can maintain purpose in the face of adversity. The key is in how you respond to the hatred and resistance. Do you allow it to break you, to make you bitter, or to distract you from your mission? Or do you use it as fuel to drive you further along your path? The chosen understand that adversity is not a sign of failure, it is an invitation to evolve. Every time you face opposition, you are given the opportunity to refine your character. It is in these moments that your true motives are exposed, whether you are in it for the accolades or if you are genuinely committed to the purpose that set you apart in the first place. Furthermore, adversity forces you to confront the areas of weakness in your own character. When you face hatred, you learn where you are still vulnerable, whether that be in your confidence, your patience, or your ability to forgive. The chosen are constantly being shaped by these tests, becoming stronger with every trial, more resilient with every setback. This process of refinement is uncomfortable, but it is also what qualifies you to carry the weight of your calling. Resistance has a way of forcing you to focus. In the midst of opposition, distractions fall away, and you begin to see more clearly what really matters. Hatred from others sharpens your vision because it pushes you to clarify why you are doing what you do. It tests your resolve and makes you more deliberate in your actions. This is why many of the greatest leaders, innovators, and pioneers in history were also some of the most tested. Their ability to withstand pressure and rise above negativity was not just a result of their talents or gifts, but of the strength they developed through adversity. In the end, the hatred you face refines you, strengthening your character and preparing you for the greater responsibilities ahead. It teaches you to stand firm, to remain focused on your mission, and to grow in resilience no matter the opposition. Embrace your calling despite hatred. The chosen must remain focused on their mission, undeterred by hatred or opposition. Greatness requires persistence in the face of resistance. When you are chosen, opposition is inevitable, but it is critical to stay focused on your purpose, no matter the resistance you encounter. One of the greatest challenges for those set apart for a higher calling is learning to embrace that calling fully, despite the hatred, criticism, or obstacles that may come your way. Hatred can be distracting, and it is easy to become consumed by the negativity of others. However, the key to fulfilling your purpose is to not allow these external forces to dictate your path or your progress. The path of the chosen is not a smooth one, and the resistance you face can make you question your journey. You may wonder if the struggle is worth it, or if you're on the right path when so much opposition comes your way. But remember, the very presence of hatred is often a sign that you are moving in the right direction. Resistance comes because your purpose carries weight, and that weight disturbs those who would prefer things remain unchanged. Your calling is bigger than the approval or acceptance of others. And in order to achieve greatness, you must rise above the noise. Greatness requires persistence, and persistence in the face of adversity is what sets the chosen apart. When hatred arises, it is not a signal to retreat, but rather an invitation to press forward. To embrace your calling is to understand that you have been equipped for the journey ahead, and no amount of opposition can derail what has already been set in motion. The strength of your purpose must overshadow the volume of your critics. To fully embrace your calling means keeping your eyes on the mission, not on the distractions that will inevitably come. It requires a singular focus an ability to see beyond the present difficulties and stay committed to the vision that has been placed inside of you. The chosen are not immune to doubt or fear, but they are disciplined enough to rise above it, to recognize that opposition is a part of the process and not a reason to abandon the mission. Furthermore, the chosen must develop an inner resilience that allows them to thrive in environments where they are misunderstood or even despised. This resilience is built over time through every challenge, every criticism, and every setback. It becomes clear that the goal is not to be liked or accepted by everyone, but to accomplish the task that you were uniquely designed to complete. The opinions of others become secondary to the fulfillment of your purpose. Hatred will try to divert your energy, but the chosen understand that their energy must be channeled toward their mission, not toward defending themselves against every attack. True greatness is achieved by those who can walk through opposition with grace, who can remain steadfast even when others doubt, criticize, or oppose them. Your calling is too important to be derailed by the insecurities, envy, or hatred of others. Ultimately, embracing your calling means moving forward with boldness, even when the path is difficult. It means recognizing that the opposition is part of the journey, but it is not the end of the journey. The chosen must keep pressing forward, understanding that the greatness within them is stronger than the resistance around them. The fulfillment of your purpose depends on your ability to persist despite the hatred, because your calling is far greater than the challenges you face. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to stand before you today and speak on a subject that shapes the very core of who we are, the secret of becoming mentally strong. Mental strength is not a gift reserved for a select few. It is a quality we can all develop, refine, and master if we know where to begin. Purpose is the driving force that gives our lives meaning, and it is at the very core of mental strength. It acts as a compass, guiding us through the most challenging moments and fueling the determination necessary to push through adversity. To become mentally strong, one must first identify and embrace their purpose, because purpose gives life direction, clarity, and power. Without purpose, life becomes aimless and chaotic. We find ourselves drifting, reacting to whatever comes our way, instead of intentionally moving toward a defined goal. Purpose acts as an anchor, grounding us amidst the storms of life and preventing us from being tossed around by the winds of uncertainty and doubt. When we are connected to our purpose, our steps become purposeful, our decisions intentional, and our resilience unwavering. One of the most powerful aspects of purpose is that it fuels perseverance. Knowing why you are doing something gives you the energy to keep going, even when the road is difficult. Consider these challenges and obstacles are inevitable in life. Everyone faces setbacks, disappointments, and hardships. But the difference between those who succumb to these pressures and those who rise above them lies in their understanding of purpose. When you have a deep sense of why you're on the journey, you can withstand almost any how. Purpose provides the strength to endure because it shifts your focus from immediate discomfort to long-term vision. Instead of being overwhelmed by temporary pain, you are reminded that the difficulty you're experiencing is a part of the bigger picture, a stepping stone on the path to fulfilling your greater calling. This mindset makes it possible to endure hardship with grace and persistence, knowing that each trial brings you closer to your ultimate goal. Furthermore, purpose gives us the ability to redefine adversity. Without a sense of purpose, difficulties often seem pointless and overwhelming. But when you are connected to a higher purpose, adversity is seen as a necessary part of the growth process. It becomes clear that challenges are not roadblocks, but rather opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Purpose reframes obstacles as catalysts for growth, empowering you to face them with courage instead of fear. Purpose also provides clarity in decision-making. Life is filled with distractions, options, and temptations that can pull us in various directions. Without a clear sense of purpose, it's easy to get lost, making choices that lead to frustration, regret, or burnout. But when your purpose is clearly defined, decision-making becomes much simpler. Every choice is evaluated through the lens of purpose. Does this action align with my mission? Does this bring me closer to my goal? In this way, purpose not only gives strength, but also provides a powerful filter that helps you stay focused and on course, even in the face of temptation or distraction. In addition, embracing purpose fosters self-discipline and personal accountability. When you have a purpose, you understand that every action, every habit, every moment either moves you toward or away from fulfilling your mission. This awareness breeds a higher level of discipline because you realize that your progress depends on the decisions you make daily. Purpose instills a sense of responsibility, reminding you that you are the architect of your destiny and that your actions must align with the vision you hold for your life. Mental strength is often about overcoming internal battles, fear, doubt, and insecurity. Purpose serves as a powerful weapon against these internal struggles. When you are connected to your purpose, you are less likely to be swayed by fear or paralyzed by doubt. Instead, you are driven by a deep sense of conviction that propels you forward, no matter how daunting the challenge may seem. Purpose quiets the noise of insecurity by reminding you that you are on a mission, that your life has meaning, and that the world needs what you have to offer. Ultimately, purpose is the fuel for perseverance and the foundation of mental strength. It empowers you to keep going, even when the odds are against you, even when others doubt you, and even when the path is unclear. When you know why you are doing something, you have the power to overcome any obstacle because you are not just enduring for the sake of endurance, you are enduring for the sake of a greater cause. This connection to something bigger than yourself transforms your mindset and fortifies your resilience, enabling you to navigate life's challenges with unwavering strength. That purpose is the driving force that gives our lives meaning, and it is at the very core of mental strength. It acts as a compass, guiding us through the most challenging moments and fueling the determination necessary to push through adversity. To become mentally strong, one must first identify and embrace their purpose, because purpose gives life direction, clarity, and power. Without purpose, life becomes aimless and chaotic. We find ourselves drifting, reacting to whatever comes our way, instead of intentionally moving toward a defined goal. Purpose acts as an anchor, grounding us amidst the storms of life and preventing us from being tossed around by the winds of uncertainty and doubt. When we are connected to our purpose, our steps become purposeful, our decisions intentional, and our resilience unwavering. One of the most powerful aspects of purpose is that it fuels perseverance. Knowing why you are doing something gives you the energy to keep going, even when the road is difficult. Consider these challenges and obstacles are inevitable in life. Everyone faces setbacks, disappointments, and hardships. But the difference between those who succumb to these pressures and those who rise above them lies in their understanding of purpose. When you have a deep sense of why you're on the journey, you can withstand almost anyhow. Purpose provides the strength to endure because it shifts your focus from immediate discomfort to long-term vision. Instead of being overwhelmed by temporary pain, you are reminded that the difficulty you're experiencing is a part of the bigger picture, a stepping stone on the path to fulfilling your greater calling. This mindset makes it possible to endure hardship with grace and persistence, knowing that each trial brings you closer to your ultimate goal. Furthermore, purpose gives us the ability to redefine adversity. Without a sense of purpose, difficulties often seem pointless and overwhelming. But when you are connected to a higher purpose, adversity is seen as a necessary part of the growth process. It becomes clear that challenges are not roadblocks, but rather opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Purpose reframes obstacles as catalysts for growth, empowering you to face them with courage instead of fear. Purpose also provides clarity in decision-making. Life is filled with distractions, options, and temptations that can pull us in various directions. Without a clear sense of purpose, it's easy to get lost, making choices that lead to frustration, regret, or burnout. But when your purpose is clearly defined, decision-making becomes much simpler. Every choice is evaluated through the lens of purpose. Does this action align with my mission? Does this bring me closer to my goal? In this way, purpose not only gives strength, but also provides a powerful filter that helps you stay focused and on course, even in the face of temptation or distraction. In addition, embracing purpose fosters self-discipline and personal accountability. When you have a purpose, you understand that every action, every habit, every moment either moves you toward or away from fulfilling your mission. This awareness breeds a higher level of discipline because you realize that your progress depends on the decisions you make daily. Purpose instills a sense of responsibility, reminding you that you are the architect of your destiny and that your actions must align with the vision you hold for your life. Mental strength is often about overcoming internal battles, fear, doubt, and insecurity. Purpose serves as a powerful weapon against these internal struggles. When you are connected to your purpose, you are less likely to be swayed by fear or paralyzed by doubt. Instead, you are driven by a deep sense of conviction that propels you forward, no matter how daunting the challenge may seem. Purpose quiets the noise of insecurity by reminding you that you are on a mission, that your life has meaning, and that the world needs what you have to offer. Purpose is the fuel for perseverance and the foundation of mental strength. It empowers you to keep going, even when the odds are against you, even when others doubt you, and even when the path is unclear. When you know why you are doing something, you have the power to overcome any obstacle, because you are not just enduring for the sake of endurance, you are enduring for the sake of a greater cause. This connection to something bigger than yourself transforms your mindset and fortifies your resilience, enabling you to navigate life's challenges with unwavering strength. Control over your thoughts is a fundamental key to becoming mentally strong. Your thoughts shape your reality, and the way you perceive yourself and the world around you is largely determined by the patterns of thinking you allow to take root in your mind. Mental strength, therefore, begins with mastering your mind. And this requires intentional and disciplined thought management. What you feed your mind ultimately determines your strength, resilience, and ability to overcome challenges. The human mind is incredibly powerful, and it has the ability to create either a constructive or destructive narrative about any situation. Left unchecked, the mind can wander into negative territories filled with doubt, fear, and insecurity. These thoughts are often subtle, creeping in quietly, but gradually influencing our perception of what we are capable of achieving. When we allow these negative thoughts to dominate, they begin to create a limiting belief system, trapping us in cycles of fear and inaction. Therefore, one of the first steps to building mental strength is to take control of your thoughts by becoming aware of them. Thought management is not about suppressing thoughts or pretending that negative thoughts don't exist. It is about actively choosing which thoughts to give power to. The truth is, we cannot always control the thoughts that pop into our heads, but we do have the power to decide which thoughts we will entertain, dwell upon, and ultimately believe. Mental strength comes from the ability to shift from automatic, often negative thought patterns to intentional, positive ones. One of the most effective ways to control your thoughts is through the practice of feeding your mind with truth, wisdom, and positive affirmations. Truth is the foundation upon which mental strength is built. It is easy for our minds to be swayed by lies about our abilities, our worth, our potential. These lies can come from past experiences, societal pressures, or self-doubt. However, when we consistently remind ourselves of the truth about who we are, what we are capable of, and the purpose we are meant to fulfill, our thoughts become aligned with a reality that empowers us rather than weakens us. In addition to truth, wisdom plays a critical role in shaping mentally strong thoughts. Wisdom comes from seeking knowledge, learning from experience, and listening to those who have walked the path before us. When we fill our minds with wisdom, we gain perspective that helps us rise above momentary challenges and see the bigger picture. Mentally strong people are not just focused on immediate gratification or quick fixes. They have a long-term vision, guided by wisdom that allows them to make thoughtful decisions and remain calm under pressure. Positive affirmations are also a powerful tool in managing thoughts. Our minds respond to the words we repeatedly speak to ourselves. If we constantly affirm negative beliefs, such as "I'm not good enough" or "I can't do this," Our minds will begin to accept these statements as truth, and they will manifest in our reality. However, when we intentionally speak positive affirmations over our lives, such as I am capable, I am strong, or I am worthy of success, we train our minds to believe in our own potential. These affirmations act as seeds planted in the fertile soil of the mind, and over time, they grow into strong, resilient beliefs that sustain us through life's challenges. Another critical aspect of controlling your thoughts is learning how to redirect negative thinking when it arises. It is natural to feel fear, doubt, or discouragement at times, but mentally strong individuals have mastered the art of redirection. When a negative thought comes into their minds, they do not allow it to fester. Instead, they immediately challenge it by replacing it with a thought that is rooted in truth and possibility. For example, instead of thinking, I will fail, a mentally strong person might reframe the thought to, I will learn and grow from this experience. This process of reframing negative thoughts into empowering ones requires practice. But over time, it becomes a natural response to adversity. It is also important to understand that controlling your thoughts is a daily discipline. Just as physical strength is built through consistent exercise, mental strength is developed through consistent thought management. It is not a one-time event, but a continual process of cultivating a mindset that is rooted in strength, positivity, and resilience. This requires daily reflection, mindfulness, and sometimes even solitude, where you can assess your thoughts, recalibrate your thinking, and make conscious choices about the direction of your mind. Mental strength is deeply tied to your ability to control your thoughts. By feeding your mind with truth, wisdom, and positive affirmations, and by intentionally redirecting negative thinking, you create a mental environment that fosters strength and resilience. Thought management is not about avoiding difficulties, but rather about equipping your mind to navigate them with clarity, purpose, and a belief in your own ability to succeed. When you learn to master your thoughts, you unlock the true potential of your mind, and you build a foundation for enduring mental strength. Disciplining your emotions is essential for building mental strength. Emotions are a natural and valuable part of life. They give color to our experiences, signal important needs or concerns, and help us connect with others. However, while emotions are integral to being human, they should not have the final say in the decisions we make. Mentally strong individuals have learned how to manage their emotions rather than allowing emotions to manage them. This discipline requires awareness, self-control, and a deep understanding of the consequences of emotional reactions. At the core of emotional discipline is the principle that emotions are temporary, but the decisions you make in the heat of those emotions can have long-lasting effects. Fear, anger, frustration, and anxiety are powerful emotions, and if left unchecked, they can lead to impulsive decisions that do more harm than good. Imagine being in a situation where someone provokes you, and in a moment of anger, you say something hurtful or act out in a way that damages a relationship. The anger may dissipate after a few minutes, but the damage caused by that emotional reaction could last for years. This is why it is crucial to practice emotional discipline. Mental strength does not mean ignoring or suppressing emotions, but rather developing the ability to acknowledge them without allowing them to dictate your actions. When fear arises, it's important to recognize it, but not to let it paralyze you. When anger surfaces, acknowledge it, but don't allow it to drive your behavior. Emotionally disciplined people do not deny their feelings. Instead, they pause, process, and respond in a measured way that aligns with their values and long-term goals. One of the most common emotions that can undermine mental strength is fear. Fear often arises in moments of uncertainty or when we perceive a threat to our security, reputation, or well-being. While fear is a natural response designed to protect us, it can also lead to avoidance, hesitation, and missed opportunities. If you let fear dictate your decisions, you may end up shrinking back from challenges or failing to take necessary risks that lead to growth. Mentally strong individuals discipline their fear by acknowledging it, but not allowing it to dominate their choices. They assess the situation with clarity, weigh the risk logically, and move forward with courage, even in the presence of fear. Anger is another powerful emotion that, when undisciplined, can destroy relationships, reputations, and progress. Anger can cloud judgment and lead to actions that we later regret. For instance, how many times have you seen someone say something in a fit of rage, only to realize later that their words cause harm that cannot easily be undone? Mentally strong individuals recognize the power of anger, but also understand that responding in anger rarely yields positive results. Instead of reacting impulsively, they take a step back, allowing the emotion to cool down before addressing the issue. By responding with wisdom and calm, they are able to handle difficult situations in a way that promotes resolution rather than conflict. Frustration and stress are also emotions that require discipline. Life is filled with moments that test our patience, whether it's dealing with a difficult colleague, facing a setback in a project, or juggling multiple responsibilities. When frustration sets in, it's easy to lash out or give up. However, mentally strong people have developed the discipline to remain composed even when things don't go as planned. They understand that frustration is temporary and that giving in to it will not move them closer to their goals. Instead, they channel their frustration into problem solving, maintaining focus on the bigger picture. A key component of disciplining your emotions is learning how to pause before reacting. In moments of heightened emotion, it's easy to feel an overwhelming urge to act immediately. This is when mistakes are often made. Mentally strong people have mastered the art of pausing, taking a moment to breathe, and allowing the emotion to settle before making a decision. This pause creates space for logic, reason, and reflection to enter the decision-making process. In this space, they are able to ask themselves important questions. Is this the best response? What are the consequences of acting on this emotion? How can I handle this situation in a way that aligns with my values? By pausing, they gain control over their emotions rather than being controlled by them. Another important aspect of emotional discipline is developing emotional awareness. Mentally strong people are attuned to their emotional states. They regularly check in with themselves to identify what they are feeling and why. This self-awareness allows them to address emotions before they escalate into reactions that they may regret. For instance, they may recognize early signs of stress or burnout and take steps to address it through self-care, reflection, or seeking support. Emotional awareness is the foundation upon which emotional discipline is built, because without it, emotions can build up unchecked and manifest in destructive ways. In addition to awareness and control, mentally strong people practice empathy and understanding in emotionally charged situations. They understand that others may also be dealing with their own emotions, and they respond with patience and grace rather than meeting emotion with emotion. This ability to remain calm under pressure is a hallmark of emotional discipline, and is one of the reasons mentally strong people can build healthy relationships and maintain peace, even in tense situations. Emotional discipline is not about stifling your feelings, it's about responding to them wisely. When you master your emotions, you are able to maintain clarity in difficult situations, avoid impulsive decisions, and stay aligned with your goals and values. This ability to manage emotions is not only key to personal well-being, but also to building lasting mental strength. Enduring adversity is one of the most significant components of mental strength. Challenges, setbacks, and difficulties are inevitable in life, and they come in many forms: personal failures, loss, unexpected obstacles, and even external pressures beyond our control. However, these adversities are not meant to be viewed as roadblocks that stop us from progressing. Rather, they are opportunities for growth, learning, and the development of inner strength. The real secret to mental toughness is not about avoiding challenges, but about enduring them with resilience, learning from them, and ultimately overcoming them. Adversity is part of the human experience. It is unrealistic to expect a life free of challenges or setbacks. What separates mentally strong individuals from the rest is their perspective on adversity. Where others may see problems, mentally strong people see possibilities. They understand that the struggles they face are not permanent, but rather moments that can be used to cultivate wisdom, patience, and perseverance. When you learn to endure adversity, you start to view challenges not as things that happen to you, but as events that happen for you designed to help you grow stronger and wiser. One of the key aspects of enduring adversity is recognizing that growth and comfort do not coexist. Growth requires stepping outside of your comfort zone, confronting the unknown, and taking on challenges that test your limits. It is in these uncomfortable spaces that mental strength is built. Much like a muscle grows stronger through resistance, your mind becomes more resilient when you face and endure resistance. If you never experience difficulty, you will never know the full extent of your potential. Adversity stretches you, pushes you to find solutions, and reveals inner strengths that would otherwise remain dormant. Moreover, enduring adversity is about cultivating a mindset that embraces challenges as necessary for personal development. Every setback is an opportunity to reassess, recalibrate, and refine your approach. Mentally strong people know that failure is not the opposite of success, but a crucial part of it. In fact, most successful individuals have a history of overcoming significant challenges. They have faced failures, disappointments, and seemingly insurmountable odds, but instead of allowing these adversities to defeat them, they have used them as stepping stones toward achieving their goals. Adversity, in this sense, becomes a powerful teacher. Mentally strong individuals are also characterized by their ability to maintain hope and optimism in the midst of adversity. It is easy to become disheartened when life throws curveballs, but resilience is built by holding on to the belief that things will improve. This sense of hope is not based on blind optimism, but on the understanding that hardships are temporary and that with the right mindset and effort, they can be overcome. Instead of giving in to despair or frustration, mentally strong people focus on what they can control and take proactive steps toward resolving the challenges they face. One of the most important lessons adversity teaches is that of persistence. Enduring through tough times requires persistence, the ability to keep going, even when progress seems slow or non-existent. This persistence is what separates those who give up from those who eventually find success. The path to achieving any meaningful goal is rarely linear. There will be setbacks and obstacles along the way. But the mentally strong individual understands that persistence is key. They may not succeed immediately, but they keep pushing forward, knowing that each failure is simply a stepping stone on the path to ultimate success. Enduring adversity also requires developing emotional resilience. When faced with hardship, it is natural to experience emotions such as frustration, sadness, or even anger. However, mentally strong individuals have learned to process these emotions without allowing them to take over. They recognize their feelings, but they don't let emotions cloud their judgment or derail their progress. Emotional resilience is the ability to experience adversity while maintaining focus, purpose, and a sense of hope. It's about bouncing back from tough situations with a renewed determination to keep moving forward. Another critical aspect of enduring adversity is learning from it. Every challenge we face has the potential to teach us something valuable about ourselves, our abilities, and our approach to life. Mentally strong people see adversity as a classroom. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me, they ask, what can I learn from this shift in perspective transforms adversity into a source of wisdom. Perhaps the challenge revealed a need to improve a certain skill or highlighted an area of personal growth. By extracting lessons from adversity, mentally strong individuals become better equipped to handle future challenges. It's important to understand that enduring adversity is not about suppressing struggles or pretending that everything is fine. Mental strength does not mean you never feel the weight of challenges. It means you develop the capacity to carry that weight and keep moving forward. There will be times when adversity feels overwhelming, and it is during these moments that reaching out for support becomes vital. Mentally strong people recognize the importance of a strong support system, whether it be friends, family, or mentors, who can offer guidance, encouragement, and perspective. Enduring adversity is about resilience, persistence, emotional strength, and the ability to learn from challenges. It's not about avoiding difficulties, but about embracing them as opportunities for growth and transformation. The secret to mental strength lies in your ability to endure, to adapt, and to emerge stronger from the challenges life throws your way. The more you endure adversity, the more resilient and capable you become, ultimately shaping a mindset that can overcome anything life brings. Surrounding yourself with wisdom is one of the most profound secrets to developing and maintaining mental strength. Who you listen to, who you spend time with, and whose voices you allow to influence your life all have a significant impact on your mindset, decisions, and overall outlook on life. If you want to be mentally strong, it is essential to surround yourself with people who possess wisdom, integrity, encourage people whose perspectives are grounded in truth and experience. These individuals act as guides, mentors, and supporters, helping you navigate life's challenges with clarity and resilience. The company you keep shapes your thinking, whether you realize it or not. Human beings are relational by nature, and our minds are constantly influenced by those around us. This is why surrounding yourself with people who possess wisdom is so critical. When you regularly engage with wise individuals, their perspectives, insights, and advice begin to shape your own thought processes. You gain access to their accumulated knowledge, and their life experiences provide valuable lessons that help you avoid unnecessary pitfalls and make more informed decisions. By contrast, if you spend time with people who lack wisdom or whose priorities are misguided, you risk adopting patterns of thinking that can weaken your resolve and lead you astray. Wisdom, in this context, is not just about knowledge or intelligence. It is about understanding life's deeper principles, what truly matters, how to overcome adversity, and how to live a life of purpose and meaning. People of wisdom help you see beyond the surface of situations. They offer clarity when you are confused, encouragement when you are discouraged, and sound judgment when you are overwhelmed by emotions. Surrounding yourself with such people fortifies your mental strength because it equips you with the right tools to face life's inevitable challenges with a level-headed and strategic approach. Mentorship is one of the most powerful forms of surrounding yourself with wisdom. A mentor is someone who has walked the path ahead of you and has the experience to guide you through your own journey. Mentors provide not only advice but also perspective. They help you see things you might miss on your own, offering wisdom that comes from their personal trials and triumphs. Their encouragement helps you remain steadfast in difficult times, while their counsel can help you make decisions that are aligned with your long-term goals. Having a mentor is like having a compass in the wilderness. They don't walk the path for you, but they help you navigate it with greater confidence and direction. Positive associations are equally important for maintaining mental fortitude. The people you associate with regularly have a subtle yet powerful influence on your mindset and behavior. If you surround yourself with individuals who are constantly negative, cynical, or complacent, their attitudes can slowly seep into your consciousness. Negativity is contagious, and before long you may find yourself doubting your abilities, second-guessing your decisions, or feeling less motivated to pursue your goals. On the other hand, when you associate with people who are driven, optimistic, and courageous, their energy inspires you to rise to a higher standard. Positive associations challenge you to be better, to think more clearly, and to persevere when times get tough. It is important to note that surrounding yourself with wisdom does not always mean seeking out people with high social status or formal authority. Wisdom often comes from individuals who have lived through adversity and emerged with insight and strength. These can be family members, friends, colleagues, or community leaders who embody principles of integrity, kindness, and courage. The key is to find people whose lives reflect the kind of mental strength you wish to cultivate in your own. They are the ones who consistently make decisions based on principles rather than emotions, who treat others with respect and empathy, and who face challenges with resilience and faith. When you surround yourself with people of wisdom and integrity, they not only influence your thoughts but also hold you accountable. Mentally strong people know the value of accountability, of having someone who can challenge you when you are slipping into unproductive habits or thinking patterns. Wise individuals are not afraid to tell you the truth, even when it is uncomfortable, because they care about your growth. Their honesty helps you stay grounded and focused on your purpose, preventing you from being swayed by distractions or self-doubt. Moreover, courage is a trait you want to see in those you surround yourself with. Courageous individuals inspire you to face your own fears. They demonstrate through their actions that it is possible to overcome difficulties, even when the odds seem stacked against you. Their lives serve as living testimonies of what is possible when you refuse to let fear dictate your decisions. When you are around people who consistently face their challenges with courage, it reinforces your own belief in your ability to do the same. Courage breeds courage, and having that influence around you bolsters your mental fortitude. Surrounding yourself with wisdom, integrity, and courage is essential for maintaining mental strength. Who you listen to shapes your mentality, and the voices you allow into your life can either build you up or tear you down. By surrounding yourself with mentors and positive associations, you create an environment that fosters growth, resilience, and clarity. These individuals provide guidance, challenge your thinking, and encourage you to persevere in the face of adversity. They help you to stay on course, reminding you of your purpose and helping you cultivate the mental strength necessary to thrive in life's most challenging moments. Practicing gratitude and reflection is a cornerstone of mental strength, fostering resilience and inner peace in ways that many overlook. True strength is cultivated from within, and the daily habit of being grateful and taking time to reflect can profoundly impact your mindset, helping you navigate life's challenges with a sense of calm, clarity, and purpose. Mentally strong individuals understand that focusing on what they have rather than what they lack allows them to build a foundation of positivity, contentment, and growth, while reflection enables them to learn from their experiences, adapt, and continuously improve. Gratitude is more than just saying thank you or acknowledging the good things in life. It is an intentional practice of focusing on the abundance in your life, even in the midst of difficulty. In today's world, it is easy to get caught up in what we don't have, the goals we have yet to reach, the opportunities that have passed us by, or the challenges that seem too great. However, mentally strong people shift their perspective by consistently acknowledging the blessings, big and small, that they already possess. This practice of gratitude transforms their outlook from one of scarcity to one of abundance. It allows them to see the good that exists, even when times are hard. And this shift in focus becomes a source of strength. Gratitude has a unique way of rewiring the brain. When you train your mind to focus on what is going right in your life, you foster a sense of appreciation that overshadows negativity. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending that life is perfect, but rather it helps put adversity into perspective. When you are grateful, you acknowledge that despite the difficulties you face, there are still things to be thankful for, whether it's the support of a loved one, the lessons learned through failure, or the opportunities that still lie ahead. Gratitude acts as a stabilizing force that keeps mentally strong individuals grounded, enabling them to approach life's ups and downs with a calm and composed attitude. Reflection is the companion to gratitude, and it is equally essential for building mental strength. Taking time to reflect is how mentally strong people learn from their experiences, process their emotions, and gain insight into their behavior. Through reflection, they can better understand their past choices, assess what worked and what didn't, and apply those lessons to future situations. Reflection turns experiences, both good and bad, into wisdom. It is not enough to simply go through life's challenges. Mentally strong people take the time to reflect on those challenges, extract invaluable lessons that help them grow stronger and more resilient. Reflecting on both successes and failures is important. When mentally strong individuals reflect on their successes, they don't become complacent, but they do take time to acknowledge the hard work, discipline, and strategy that led to positive outcomes. This builds their confidence and reinforces behaviors that lead to success. On the other hand, when they reflect on failures or mistakes, they do so without self-judgment. They view these moments not as defining setbacks, but as opportunities for growth. Through reflection, they ask important questions like, what could I have done differently? Or what did this experience teach me about myself? By doing so, they are able to adjust their mindset and approach, ensuring that they are better prepared for the future. Practicing gratitude and reflection also allows mentally strong individuals to maintain emotional balance. Gratitude keeps them from being consumed by negativity, while reflection helps them process emotions in a healthy way. Instead of suppressing feelings or reacting impulsively, they take time to sit with their emotions, understand their root causes, and make thoughtful decisions. This emotional intelligence is a hallmark of mental strength, enabling individuals to navigate life's challenges with poise rather than being overwhelmed by stress or frustration. Furthermore, practicing gratitude and reflection fosters self-awareness. Mentally strong people are deeply in tune with themselves because they regularly take time to evaluate their thoughts, feelings, and actions. This self-awareness allows them to make adjustments in their lives as needed. For instance, when they notice that they are slipping into negative thought patterns or feeling overwhelmed, they use gratitude to refocus their mind on the positive aspects of their lives. Similarly, through reflection, they can identify areas where they need to improve, whether it's setting better boundaries, practicing more self-care, or pursuing personal growth. This level of awareness makes them proactive rather than reactive, helping them maintain mental resilience even in challenging times. Gratitude and reflection are also powerful tools for building perspective. When you practice gratitude, you begin to realize that no matter how difficult life may seem at times, there are always things to be thankful for. This broader perspective helps mentally strong individuals keep their problems in context. They understand that temporary setbacks do not define their overall journey, and by reflecting on their past successes and growth, they are reminded of their capacity to overcome future challenges. This outlook fosters a deep sense of peace and confidence, as they know that they have the strength and resilience to handle whatever comes their way. In addition, gratitude and reflection help mentally strong people stay aligned with their values and purpose. Through reflection, they regularly assess whether their actions are in alignment with their goals and whether they are living according to their principles. Gratitude further reinforces this by helping them focus on what truly matters in life rather than getting distracted by material pursuits or external validation. This inner alignment strengthens their resolve and makes them less susceptible to stress, anxiety, or pressure from outside influences. Incorporating gratitude and reflection into your daily routine can profoundly enhance your mental strength. These practices remind you of your blessings, help you process your experiences, and equip you with the clarity to move forward with greater wisdom and resilience. Mentally strong people don't just endure life, they actively learn from it, appreciate it, and grow stronger because of it. By practicing gratitude and reflection, they build an unshakable inner foundation, one that allows them to thrive in both good times and bad. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and fellow travelers on the road of purpose, I stand before you today to discuss a principle that is as ancient as it is powerful. Never react if someone hurts you. When someone causes you pain or offends you, it can feel like their actions define the moment. In reality, what shapes your future is not what they've done to you, but how you choose to respond. We all face situations where others hurt us, whether through words, actions, or even neglect. In those moments, it's tempting to react immediately, to defend ourselves, or to lash out in anger. But if we allow our emotions to dictate our response, we give the other person power over our future. A reaction is often impulsive and emotional, driven by the heat of the moment. And that's where the danger lies. By reacting without thinking, you're not acting from a place of strength or wisdom, but from a place of vulnerability and hurt. What you do in those moments can either propel you forward or set you back. When you react out of emotion, you often create more conflict, more pain, and more issues to deal with. You lose sight of your long-term goals and get entangled in a temporary problem. On the other hand, when you respond thoughtfully, you are taking back control of the situation. You are deciding that your future, your peace of mind, and your purpose are more important than the immediate satisfaction of reacting to an offense. In essence, the power lies not in what the other person has done, but in how you handle it. This principle is critical because your life is the sum of your decisions. Each decision you make either moves you closer to or further away from your destiny. How you choose to respond in moments of pain and offense has a ripple effect on your future. If you react hastily, you may damage relationships, close doors to opportunities, or even compromise your integrity. However, if you respond with wisdom, grace, and self-control, you not only preserve your character, but you also keep yourself aligned with your higher purpose. You stay on course toward your goals. What the other person has done is outside of your control, but how you respond is entirely within your control. And that response shapes the path you will walk. Will you let a moment of pain derail your future, or will you use it as a stepping stone to greater strength, maturity, and success? Reaction and response are often confused, but they are fundamentally different in how they affect your life. When someone offends or hurts you, your reaction is typically immediate and emotional, while your response is deliberate and measured. Reaction is instinctual. It happens in the heat of the moment, driven by emotions like anger, frustration, or fear. It's often based on the need for self-defense or retaliation, a desire to show that we won't tolerate mistreatment. But what we fail to realize is that reacting is the equivalent of surrendering control. When you react, you're allowing the actions of others to dictate your behavior. It means they are controlling not just the situation, but also your mindset, your emotions, and ultimately your future. To respond, on the other hand, is to take back that control. A response requires thought. It gives you the chance to step back, assess the situation, and then decide what course of action aligns with your values and long-term goals. In responding, you retain your power. You make a choice based on your principles, not based on the hurtful actions of another person. This is where the shift in power happens. In reaction, you give the other person influence over your emotions and actions. In response, you reclaim your authority and act according to your own wisdom and strength. Think of it this way: when someone lashes out at you, they are trying to provoke a reaction. It's like they're pulling you into their emotional storm. But by choosing to respond instead of react, you remain anchored, grounded in your own sense of purpose and self-worth. You maintain your inner peace, even when someone else is trying to disturb it. Reaction is weakness disguised as strength. Response is true strength. Choosing to respond, not react, helps you maintain clarity about what truly matters. It keeps you focused on your long-term goals rather than the temporary discomfort of the moment. By responding thoughtfully, you are not letting anyone or anything divert you from the path you are meant to walk. In this way, response becomes a powerful tool, not just for handling conflict, but for building a life that reflects your highest values and aspirations. Your emotional energy is one of your most valuable resources, and how you manage it directly influences your ability to fulfill your purpose. Every person has a finite amount of emotional energy to spend each day. When you allow yourself to react impulsively to hurt, offense, or provocation, you're expending that energy on something temporary and ultimately unproductive. Wasting emotional energy on conflict distracts you from what truly matters in your life: your goals, your growth, and your higher calling. Instead of using that energy to advance your purpose, you're allowing it to be drained by situations that don't contribute to your progress. Imagine your emotional energy as fuel for a vehicle. Every time you react in anger or frustration to someone hurting you, you are burning fuel that could have been used to take you further along the road toward your dreams. Once that fuel is spent, it's gone, and you're left with less to power you toward your real destination. The problem is, most of us don't realize how much energy we're wasting until we're emotionally exhausted, struggling to move forward in our own lives, because we've let too many external situations deplete us. When you guard your emotional energy, you protect your ability to focus on what's truly important. This doesn't mean you ignore when someone hurts you, but it means choosing not to let their actions consume your mental and emotional bandwidth. You make a conscious decision not to give them more power than they deserve over your thoughts and feelings. Instead of engaging in a draining cycle of reaction and retaliation, you conserve your energy for the battles that truly matter, the ones that advance your purpose, deepen your relationships, and strengthen your character. Mastering this is a skill. It requires the ability to pause, to take a step back, and to recognize when someone's actions are pulling you away from your path. It's about learning to detach emotionally from situations that don't serve your growth. By protecting your emotional energy, you ensure that you always have enough reserve to invest in your future, in your passions, and in becoming the best version of yourself. The more you master this, the more progress you will see in your life, because you are no longer letting petty conflicts or temporary offenses derail you from your ultimate purpose. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness or passivity, but in truth, it is one of the greatest demonstrations of strength. When someone hurts you, the natural human response is to hold on to the offense, to seek justice or even revenge. However, these reactions come from a place of emotional vulnerability. True power lies in the ability to forgive, to rise above the offense, and to release the burden of resentment. Forgiveness is not about excusing the wrong that was done to you. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional chains that bind you to that hurt. When you forgive, you regain control over your own heart and mind. The person who hurt you may have moved on, but if you hold on to the pain, you're the one who continues to suffer. Resentment is like a heavy weight that drags you down, making it harder for you to move forward in life. It occupies mental space that could be used for more productive, positive things. In holding on to unforgiveness, you're allowing the person who hurt you to continue to influence your emotions and thoughts long after the offense has occurred. But when you forgive, you break that power. You reclaim your peace of mind and emotional balance. There is also great wisdom in forgiveness, because it recognizes that people often act out of their own brokenness, their own pain. Hurt people hurt others, and sometimes the person who harmed you did so because they themselves are struggling with issues you may not even be aware of. Understanding this doesn't justify their behavior, but it helps you see the situation with more compassion and less anger. Forgiving someone does not mean you have to reconcile with them or allow them back into your life. It simply means you are choosing to release the grip their actions have on your heart. Forgiveness is a choice, a deliberate act of your will. It is the decision to prioritize your own peace and future over the offense that has been done to you. When you forgive, you're not doing it for the other person, you're doing it for yourself. You are choosing to let go of the past in order to embrace the possibilities of the future. In this way, forgiveness is an act of strength and self-empowerment, positioning you to move forward with clarity, purpose, and emotional freedom. Hurt people hurt others. This simple truth reveals a profound insight into human behavior. Often, the people who cause you pain are acting out of their own unresolved hurt and brokenness. When someone lashes out at you, betrays you, or wounds you in some way, it's easy to take their actions personally, to feel as though their hurtful behavior is a reflection of your worth. But in many cases, their behavior has far more to do with their internal struggles than anything about you. Reacting to their hurt only perpetuates the cycle of pain. When you retaliate, you engage in the same destructive pattern, spreading the very hurt that wounded you. Understanding that hurt people hurt others can change your entire perspective on offense. Instead of seeing the person as an enemy or antagonist, you begin to see them as someone who is likely carrying unseen burdens. They may be projecting their pain onto you because they don't know how to deal with it in a healthy way. This realization doesn't excuse their behavior, but it does help you approach the situation with more compassion and less anger. It reminds you that their actions are a reflection of their inner turmoil, not your value. When you choose not to react to the hurt, you break the cycle. Instead of responding with anger, bitterness, or revenge, you can approach the situation from a place of understanding and empathy. This doesn't mean you allow yourself to be mistreated or that you condone harmful behavior, but it means you refuse to let their pain dictate your response. You rise above the situation, choosing to act from a place of strength and emotional maturity, rather than allowing yourself to be pulled into their storm. By not reacting, you protect your own peace and well-being. You prevent yourself from becoming entangled in someone else's unresolved issues. More importantly, you stop the cycle of pain from continuing. If hurt people hurt others, then healed people can help heal others. When you respond to offense with grace, understanding, and emotional intelligence, you demonstrate a higher way of living. You model what it means to be whole, to rise above, and to create a path of healing rather than conflict. In choosing not to react to the hurt inflicted on you, you not only guard your own heart, but you also become a source of strength and healing in the lives of others. Instead of contributing to the spread of pain, you offer an alternative one that's rooted in understanding, compassion, and wisdom. Elevate, don't escalate. In moments of conflict or offense, the natural human tendency is to escalate meaning, to match or even exceed the intensity of the negative actions directed toward us. When someone hurts you, insults you, or wrongs you, the instinct is to hit back, to ensure they feel the same level of pain or worse. But escalation only leads to more harm, deeper wounds, and a cycle that spirals out of control. Choosing to elevate rather than escalate allows you to rise above the situation and protect your peace, dignity, and future. When you elevate, you make a conscious decision to operate from a higher plane of thinking, a place where your emotions don't control your actions. Elevation requires maturity, patience, and self-control. It's about seeing the bigger picture and recognizing that your response in the moment isn't just about right now. It's about who you are becoming and what kind of life you're building. To escalate may provide short-term satisfaction, but it ultimately damages your character, your relationships, and your emotional well-being. Elevation is a choice to prioritize your personal growth over momentary gratification. It's about asking yourself, will my reaction make me better or bitter? Will this action take me closer to or further away from the person I want to be? By elevating your response, you rise above the pettiness and emotional chaos that so often accompany offense. You shift the narrative from one of conflict to one of self-mastery and wisdom. In practical terms, elevating means responding with grace when grace isn't deserved, with kindness when kindness hasn't been shown, and with calmness in the face of provocation. It's not about being passive or ignoring what has happened. It's about refusing to lower yourself to the level of those who choose hurtful behavior. You become the one in control, not of the other person, but of yourself, your emotions, and your future. This path of elevation doesn't just impact the present moment, it sets the tone for how you handle every challenge in life. When you practice elevating in moments of offense, you train yourself to respond to all difficulties with strength and clarity. You begin to create a life where you're no longer reacting to external circumstances, but shaping your future with intentionality and wisdom. Escalation might feel like a win in the short term, but in the long term, elevation is what takes you higher personally, emotionally, and spiritually. Silence speaks louder than words. In a world where everyone seems eager to have the last word, silence can be one of the most powerful responses you can give when hurt or offended. It takes incredible strength to remain silent when everything inside you is screaming for a reaction. The need to defend yourself, explain your side, or retaliate often feels overwhelming, but choosing silence in those moments demonstrates wisdom and self-control that far surpasses any spoken words. Silence doesn't mean weakness or agreement with the offense. It's an act of restraint and maturity. By remaining silent, you communicate that you are not ruled by your emotions or the actions of others. You're showing that your peace and purpose are too valuable to be disrupted by momentary conflict. This silence is not passive, it is an active decision to refrain from engaging in the negativity that others are trying to pull you into. You are, in effect, standing above the situation, refusing to give it more attention or energy than it deserves. Sometimes, the most powerful statements aren't made with words. In the midst of an argument or conflict, silence can be deafening. It shows that you don't need to lower yourself to the level of the person attacking you. Silence can be a mirror, reflecting the other person's behavior back to them without adding to the noise. Often the lack of a reaction causes the other person to stop and reflect on their own actions because they are no longer met with resistance. In silence, you maintain your dignity and control. Words spoken in anger or frustration often lead to regret because they come from a place of emotional imbalance. But when you choose silence, you create space for clarity, for reflection, and for wisdom to guide your next steps. Silence gives you time to think before you act, ensuring that when you do respond, it comes from a place of strength, not weakness. It also gives the other person time to reconsider their words or actions, as they are met with calm instead of confrontation. There is a profound message in silence. It says, as I am not defined by this moment, it allows you to detach from the immediate need for validation or victory, and instead maintain focus on the larger picture, your growth, your peace, and your purpose. In choosing silence, you choose yourself over the temporary satisfaction of engaging in conflict. Focus on your purpose, not the pain. In moments of hurt or offense, it's easy to get consumed by the emotional intensity of the situation. Pain demands attention. It pulls at your thoughts, weighs on your heart, and can dominate your mind if you let it. However, when you choose to focus on your purpose instead of the pain, you make a conscious decision to rise above the situation and not let it derail your journey. Every time someone hurts you, there's a choice to be made. Will you allow that pain to control your thoughts and dictate your actions, or will you stay centered on your higher calling? The reality is that pain, if focused on too much, can cloud your vision. It distracts you from what truly matters, pulling you into a cycle of negative emotions and reactions. But your purpose, the reason you're here, the goals you've set, and the impact you're meant to have, those are far more important than any temporary hurt. When you stay focused on your purpose, you shift your perspective. Instead of seeing the hurt as a personal attack, you begin to see it as a challenge, an opportunity to grow and strengthen your resolve. Your purpose is bigger than the offense you've encountered. Pain, no matter how intense, is temporary, but your purpose is enduring. It's what gives your life meaning and direction, and it should always be your anchor in moments of adversity. Focusing on your purpose helps you keep things in perspective. It reminds you that your life is about more than just this moment of hurt. It's about the long-term impact you're striving to make, the legacy you're building, and the person you're becoming. The pain, while real, becomes smaller in the light of your greater mission. It loses its power to control you because you've chosen to focus on something much more significant. When you focus on your purpose, you also begin to see how the pain can serve you. Instead of being something that holds you back, it becomes a tool for growth. Challenges and pain often teach us the most valuable lessons, helping to refine our character, increase our resilience, and deepen our understanding of ourselves and others. But you can only see that if you refuse to let the pain become your focal point. Redirecting your attention from the pain to your purpose allows you to move forward with clarity, strength, and determination. It keeps you on the path toward your destiny, refusing to let temporary setbacks or hurts keep you from fulfilling your greater calling. In life, pain and offense are inevitable, but how we respond defines who we become. Choosing not to react impulsively allows us to preserve our peace, protect our purpose, and rise above the emotional chaos. By responding with wisdom, grace, and self-control, we retain our power and refuse to let others dictate our actions or future. Whether through silence, forgiveness, or focusing on our purpose, we break the cycle of hurt and embrace a higher way of living. Ultimately, our true strength lies not in how we react to hurt, but in how we rise above it. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, I come to speak to you about a matter that is essential to your growth, your peace, and ultimately your destiny. You see, life is a journey, and on this journey you will meet many people. Some will lift you higher and others will hold you down. It is not enough to simply know your purpose, you must also protect it. there are individuals, some of them perhaps even close to you, who have the potential to derail your progress if you allow them. I want to talk to you about 5 kinds of people you must distance yourself from if you want to fulfill the destiny that God has placed inside of you. The first person you must cut out of your life is the constant critic. The constant critic is a person who always finds fault in everything you do. No matter how hard you try, no matter the effort you put into your work or your life, they always seem to find something to criticize. Their words aren't aimed at helping you grow or improving your performance. Rather, they are intended to undermine your confidence and self-worth. They may masquerade their comments as tough love, or claim that they're just being honest. But the truth is, their feedback is neither loving nor honest. It is toxic. This kind of person thrives on pointing out mistakes, flaws, and imperfections, but rarely offers any kind of solution or positive reinforcement. What makes the constant critic so dangerous is their ability to subtly influence how you view yourself. Over time, their unrelenting criticism can wear down your self-esteem, making you second-guess your decisions, your abilities, and even your value. You may start to internalize their negativity, believing that you are never good enough no matter what you do. The constant critic often cloaks their remarks in a veil of concern or practicality, which makes it easy to fall into the trap of thinking they are just trying to help. But their criticism isn't about your improvement, it's about control. When someone constantly finds fault in you, they are attempting to hold power over your sense of self. In relationships, this dynamic can be even more damaging. If the constant critic is a close friend, family member, or partner, their words carry extra weight because of the emotional bond you share. You may feel obligated to take their opinions seriously, even though their feedback is consistently negative. Over time, this can create an imbalance in the relationship where you feel inferior or inadequate, always trying to meet an impossible standard that keeps shifting. The critic never seems to be satisfied because their goal isn't to build you up, but to keep you feeling less than. The constant critic's approach often involves highlighting every small mistake, every minor flaw, as if perfection is the only acceptable outcome. But life is not about perfection, it's about progress. People grow, learn, and evolve through their experiences, both positive and negative. The critic, however, tends to focus solely on the negative, ignoring any progress you make along the way. In doing so, they fail to recognize the human element of growth, which is filled with ups and downs. They want to hold you to a standard that is unrealistic, and in doing so, they drain the joy out of your accomplishments, making you feel as though nothing you do is ever good enough. One of the most challenging aspects of dealing with a constant critic is the emotional toll it takes. When you are continually subjected to negative feedback, it can be exhausting. You may start to avoid sharing your achievements or ideas with that person out of fear that they will tear it down. You may also find yourself walking on eggshells, trying to anticipate their next criticism so you can avoid it. But the truth is, with a constant critic, you can never truly win. They will always find something to nitpick, because their goal isn't to help you improve, but to keep you in a perpetual state of self-doubt. Furthermore, the constant critic is often someone who is unhappy with themselves. Their criticism of others is a reflection of their own insecurities, their own feelings of inadequacy. By pointing out flaws in others, they temporarily deflect attention from their own shortcomings. This is why their feedback often lacks any real substance. They are not interested in your growth or success, because that would require them to confront their own lack of progress. Instead, they focus on making you feel small so that they can feel bigger in comparison. It's important to recognize that constructive feedback is very different from constant criticism. Constructive feedback comes from a place of care with the intention of helping you grow and improve. It offers solutions, it acknowledges your strengths, and it is delivered with respect. Constant criticism, on the other hand, is destructive. It tears down rather than builds up. It highlights problems without offering solutions and leaves you feeling worse than before. The constant critic is not invested in your well-being. They are invested in their own need to be right, to assert dominance, or to feed their own insecurities. You cannot allow the constant critic to have power over your life. If you continue to give their words weight, you risk sacrificing your confidence, your joy, and your potential. They may never stop finding fault, but you can stop listening. Recognize the difference between constructive feedback and destructive criticism, and choose to surround yourself with people who uplift you, who believe in you, and who want to see you succeed. The energy drainer is someone who consistently depletes your mental, emotional, or physical energy without ever offering anything positive in return. These people can be difficult to spot at first, as they don't always exhibit obvious signs of toxicity. But over time, you begin to realize that every interaction with them leaves you feeling exhausted, burdened, and drained. They seem to always require something from you, whether it's your time, attention, or emotional support, but they never give back. Relationships with energy drainers are one-sided, leaving you constantly giving and them constantly taking. One of the defining characteristics of an energy drainer is their tendency to monopolize conversations with their problems, frustrations, and complaints. They seem to carry a perpetual cloud of negativity around them, and every time you speak to them, they unload their burdens onto you. Whether it's personal drama, work issues, or just a general dissatisfaction with life, they make you their emotional dumping ground. Over time, this becomes emotionally taxing as you're constantly absorbing their negativity, and it begins to affect your own mental state. Instead of feeling uplifted or energized after interacting with them, you feel drained, tired, and often overwhelmed. The energy drainer is often unaware of the toll they take on those around them because they are so consumed with their own issues. They see you as a source of comfort or relief, someone who can help them unload their emotional baggage. However, they rarely stop to consider how their constant need for support is affecting you. They don't ask how you're doing, they don't check in on your needs, and they don't offer any reciprocal support. They exist in a space where the relationship revolves around them and their problems. This lack of reciprocity is what makes their presence so exhausting. It's not that you don't want to help or be there for them, but when the relationship becomes entirely one-sided, it drains you of your own emotions. Another common trait of the energy drainer is their inability to solve their own problems. While they frequently come to you with their issues, they seem uninterested in finding solutions. They would rather complain about their situation than take any action to change it. As a result, you often find yourself giving the same advice over and over again, only to see no improvement in their behavior or circumstances. This cycle becomes frustrating as it feels like no matter how much you try to help, they are stuck in a loop of negativity and inaction. The emotional labor you invest in them yields no fruit, and you are left feeling not only drained but also powerless to make a difference. In some cases, energy drainers may not be overtly negative, but instead subtly demand more of your time and energy than you can reasonably give. They might always need you to listen, to help with tasks, or to provide constant attention, leaving you with little time for yourself. Their needs always seem to come before yours, and they take advantage of your willingness to help without considering the impact it has on your own well-being. They may not intend to be draining, but their behavior creates a situation where your personal boundaries are consistently violated. You end up feeling depleted, as if there is no space left for your own needs, goals, or self-care. Dealing with energy drainers can also take a physical toll. Constantly being in a state of emotional or mental exhaustion can manifest in physical symptoms, such as fatigue, headaches, or even stress-related illnesses. When your energy is constantly being drained by someone else, your body and mind struggle to recover. The emotional weight you carry for them becomes a physical burden that affects your overall health and well-being. You may notice that after spending time with an energy drainer, you feel unusually tired or unmotivated to engage in activities you normally enjoy. This is a clear sign that the relationship is having a detrimental effect on your energy levels. The most challenging part about dealing with energy drainers is that they often don't realize the impact they're having on you. They don't see themselves as draining in their mind. They are simply sharing their life or seeking help from a friend. This makes it difficult to confront them or set boundaries without feeling guilty. You may feel a sense of obligation to continue helping them, even when it comes at the cost of your own well-being. But the truth is, no relationship should leave you feeling consistently depleted. A healthy relationship is one where both parties give and receive support in a balanced way. Recognizing an energy drainer in your life is the first step towards reclaiming your energy. You must be mindful of how you feel after interactions with certain people. Do you feel uplifted and energized, or do you feel weighed down and exhausted? If the latter is true, it may be time to set firmer boundaries or even distance yourself from the person. Your mental, emotional, and physical energy is precious, and it's essential that you protect it. You cannot continue to pour into someone else when your own well is running dry. In the end, preserving your energy is not only about self-care, but also about ensuring you have the strength to live out your purpose without unnecessary hindrances. The manipulator is a person who subtly twists situations and bends truths to serve their own agenda, often at the expense of others. They are experts at disguising their true intentions, making it difficult to recognize the harm they are doing until you are already entangled in their web. At the heart of manipulation lies selfishness, but it is not always overt. Manipulators are skilled in the art of deception, using charm, guilt, and persuasion to bend situations in their favor. They often target kind-hearted individuals, knowing that their compassion can be exploited to fulfill their own desires. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, I come to speak to you about a matter that is essential to your growth, your peace, and ultimately your destiny. You see, life is a journey, and on this journey you will meet many people. Some will lift you higher and others will hold you down. It is not enough to simply know your purpose, you must also protect it. There are individuals, some of them perhaps even close to you, who have the potential to derail your progress if you allow them. I want to talk to you about 5 kinds of people you must distance yourself from if you want to fulfill the destiny that God has placed inside of you. The first person you must cut out of your life is the constant critic. The constant critic is a person who always finds fault in everything you do. No matter how hard you try, no matter the effort you put into your work or your life, they always seem to find something to criticize. Their words aren't aimed at helping you grow or improving your performance. Rather, they are intended to undermine your confidence and self-worth. They may masquerade their comments as tough love, or claim that they're just being honest. But the truth is, their feedback is neither loving nor honest. It is toxic. This kind of person thrives on pointing out mistakes, flaws, and imperfections, but rarely offers any kind of solution or positive reinforcement. What makes the constant critic so dangerous is their ability to subtly influence how you view yourself. Over time, their unrelenting criticism can wear down your self-esteem, making you second-guess your decisions, your abilities, and even your value. You may start to internalize their negativity, believing that you are never good enough, no matter what you do. The constant critic often cloaks their remarks in a veil of concern or practicality, which makes it easy to fall into the trap of thinking they are just trying to help. But their criticism isn't about your improvement, it's about control. When someone constantly finds fault in you, they are attempting to hold power over your sense of self. In relationships, this dynamic can be even more damaging. If the constant critic is a close friend, family member, or partner, their words carry extra weight because of the emotional bond you share. You may feel obligated to take their opinions seriously, even though their feedback is consistently negative. Over time, this can create an imbalance in the relationship where you feel inferior or inadequate, always trying to meet an impossible standard that keeps shifting. The critic never seems to be satisfied because their goal isn't to build you up, but to keep you feeling less than. The constant critic's approach often involves highlighting every small mistake, every minor flaw, as if perfection is the only acceptable outcome. But life is not about perfection, it's about progress. People grow, learn, and evolve through their experiences, both positive and negative. The critic, however, tends to focus solely on the negative, ignoring any progress you make along the way. In doing so, they fail to recognize the human element of growth, which is filled with ups and downs. They want to hold you to a standard that is unrealistic, and in doing so, they drain the joy out of your accomplishments, making you feel as though nothing you do is ever good enough. One of the most challenging aspects of dealing with a constant critic is the emotional toll it takes. When you are continually subjected to negative feedback, it can be exhausting. You may start to avoid sharing your achievements or ideas with that person out of fear that they will tear it down. You may also find yourself walking on eggshells, trying to anticipate their next criticism so you can avoid it. But the truth is, with a constant critic, you can never truly win. They will always find something to nitpick, because their goal isn't to help you improve, but to keep you in a perpetual state of self-doubt. Furthermore, the constant critic is often someone who is unhappy with themselves. Their criticism of others is a reflection of their own insecurities, their own feelings of inadequacy. By pointing out flaws in others, they temporarily deflect attention from their own shortcomings. This is why their feedback often lacks any real substance. They are not interested in your growth or success, because that would require them to confront their own lack of progress. Instead, they focus on making you feel small so that they can feel bigger in comparison. It's important to recognize that constructive feedback is very different from constant criticism. Constructive feedback comes from a place of care with the intention of helping you grow and improve. It offers solutions, it acknowledges your strengths, and it is delivered with respect. Constant criticism, on the other hand, is destructive. It tears down rather than builds up. It highlights problems without offering solutions and leaves you feeling worse than before. The constant critic is not invested in your well-being. They are invested in their own need to be right, to assert dominance, or to feed their own insecurities. You cannot allow the constant critic to have power over your life. If you continue to give their words weight, you risk sacrificing your confidence, your joy, and your potential. They may never stop finding fault, but you can stop listening. Recognize the difference between constructive feedback and destructive criticism, and choose to surround yourself with people who uplift you, who believe in you, and who want to see you succeed. The energy drainer is someone who consistently depletes your mental, emotional, or physical energy without ever offering anything positive in return. These people can be difficult to spot at first, as they don't always exhibit obvious signs of toxicity. But over time, you begin to realize that every interaction with them leaves you feeling exhausted, burdened, and drained. They seem to always require something from you, whether it's your time, attention, or emotional support, but they never give back. Relationships with energy drainers are one-sided, leaving you constantly giving and them constantly taking. One of the defining characteristics of an energy drainer is their tendency to monopolize conversations with their problems, frustrations, and complaints. They seem to carry a perpetual cloud of negativity around them, And every time you speak to them, they unload their burdens onto you. Whether it's personal drama, work issues, or just a general dissatisfaction with life, they make you their emotional dumping ground. Over time, this becomes emotionally taxing as you're constantly absorbing their negativity, and it begins to affect your own mental state. Instead of feeling uplifted or energized after interacting with them, you feel drained, tired, and often overwhelmed. The energy drainer is often unaware of the toll they take on those around them because they are so consumed with their own issues. They see you as a source of comfort or relief, someone who can help them unload their emotional baggage. However, they rarely stop to consider how their constant need for support is affecting you. They don't ask how you're doing, they don't check in on your needs, and they don't offer any reciprocal support. They exist in a space where the relationship revolves around them and their problems. This lack of reciprocity is what makes their presence so exhausting. It's not that you don't want to help or be there for them, but when the relationship becomes entirely one-sided, it drains you of your own emotions. Another common trait of the energy drainer is their inability to solve their own problems. While they frequently come to you with their issues, they seem uninterested in finding solutions. They would rather complain about their situation than take any action to change it. As a result, you often find yourself giving the same advice over and over again, only to see no improvement in their behavior or circumstances. This cycle becomes frustrating as it feels like no matter how much you try to help, they are stuck in a loop of negativity and inaction. The emotional labor you invest in them yields no fruit, and you are left feeling not only drained but also powerless to make a difference. In some cases, energy drainers may not be overtly negative, but instead subtly demand more of your time and energy than you can reasonably give. They might always need you to listen, to help with tasks, or to provide constant attention, leaving you with little time for yourself. Their needs always seem to come before yours, and they take advantage of your willingness to help without considering the impact it has on your own well-being. They may not intend to be draining, but their behavior creates a situation where your personal boundaries are consistently violated. You end up feeling depleted, as if there is no space left for your own needs, goals, or self-care. Dealing with energy drainers can also take a physical toll. Constantly being in a state of emotional or mental exhaustion can manifest in physical symptoms, such as fatigue, headaches, or even stress-related illnesses. When your energy is constantly being drained by someone else, your body and mind struggle to recover. The emotional weight you carry for them becomes a physical burden that affects your overall health and well-being. You may notice that after spending time with an energy drainer, you feel unusually tired or unmotivated to engage in activities you normally enjoy. This is a clear sign that the relationship is having a detrimental effect on your energy levels. The most challenging part about dealing with energy drainers is that they often don't realize the impact they're having on you. They don't see themselves as draining in their mind. They are simply sharing their life or seeking help from a friend. This makes it difficult to confront them or set boundaries without feeling guilty. You may feel a sense of obligation to continue helping them, even when it comes at the cost of your own well-being. But the truth is, no relationship should leave you feeling consistently depleted. A healthy relationship is one where both parties give and receive support in a balanced way. Recognizing an energy drainer in your life is the first step towards reclaiming your energy. You must be mindful of how you feel after interactions with certain people. Do you feel uplifted and energized, or do you feel weighed down and exhausted? If the latter is true, it may be time to set firmer boundaries or even distance yourself from the person. Your mental, emotional, and physical energy is precious, and it's essential that you protect it. You cannot continue to pour into someone else when your own well is running dry. In the end, preserving your energy is not only about self-care, but also about ensuring you have the strength to live out your purpose without unnecessary hindrances. The manipulator is a person who subtly twists situations and bends truth to serve their own agenda, often at the expense of others. They are experts at disguising their true intentions, making it difficult to recognize the harm they are doing until you are already entangled in their web. At the heart of manipulation lies selfishness, but it is not always overt. Manipulators are skilled in the art of deception, using charm, guilt, and persuasion to bend situations in their favor. They often target kind-hearted individuals, knowing that their compassion can be exploited to fulfill their own desires. One of the most dangerous traits of a manipulator is their ability to make you feel as though you owe them something. They may do small favors for you, then later use those favors as leverage to get what they want. This transactional mindset is not built on mutual respect or genuine care, but on creating a sense of obligation. For instance, they might offer you help when you're in a vulnerable state, only to bring it up later when they need something from you. This creates an unhealthy dynamic where you feel compelled to say yes to their requests, not out of free will, but because of the unspoken debt they've imposed upon you. Manipulators also have a way of distorting facts to shift the blame away from themselves and onto others. When a situation doesn't go their way, they are quick to reframe it in such a manner that makes them the victim, even when they were the one in the wrong. They excel at playing the victim card, twisting the narrative so that they appear misunderstood, mistreated, or unfairly judged. This tactic is designed to evoke sympathy, making you question your own perceptions of what really happened. By casting themselves as the victim, they manipulate your emotions, causing you to feel guilty for even considering holding them accountable. One of their most effective tools is the ability to manipulate emotions, particularly guilt and sympathy. A manipulator knows exactly how to push emotional buttons to get the response they want. If you express discomfort or try to set boundaries, they may react by accusing you of being ungrateful, selfish, or uncaring. This tactic works because it targets your sense of empathy and kindness. You begin to doubt yourself, wondering if perhaps you are being too harsh or unreasonable. The manipulator thrives on this self-doubt, using it to keep you in a cycle of compliance and emotional obligation. Another common trait of manipulators is their capacity to isolate you emotionally. They often work behind the scenes, sowing seeds of doubt about other people in your life, subtly encouraging you to question your relationships with family members, friends, or colleagues. By doing this, they position themselves as the only person you can trust, further deepening their control over your life. Isolation is one of their most powerful weapons because once they've removed the external voices of reason from your life, they can more easily dominate your thinking and decision making. You become dependent on their approval, not realizing that your other support systems have been systematically dismantled. The manipulator also knows how to take advantage of your weaknesses and insecurities. They are keen observers and quickly identify what makes you vulnerable, whether it's a fear of conflict, a need for approval, or a desire to please others. Once they have identified your soft spots, they use them to manipulate you into doing things you wouldn't normally agree to. For example, if they sense that you avoid confrontation, they might use this to their advantage by pushing boundaries, knowing that you are unlikely to push back. Or if they know that you have a deep desire to be liked, they will shower you with praise and validation, only to withdraw it when you don't comply with their wishes. A manipulator's control is not always achieved through outright demands. Often they use subtler methods like passive-aggressive behavior or veiled suggestions that make you feel as though you're making your own decisions. But in reality, they have orchestrated the situation so carefully that you are left with little choice but to do what they want. This is the insidious nature of manipulation. It creates the illusion of autonomy while quietly stripping it away. You believe you are acting of your own volition, but in truth you are merely playing a role in their larger scheme. What makes manipulation so difficult to combat is that manipulators are often extremely charismatic. They are likable, persuasive, and know how to make people feel special. This charm makes it hard to see their true nature, as you don't want to believe that someone so likable could have ulterior motives. However, it's important to remember that charm is one of their primary tools. They use it to disarm you, to make you feel comfortable and trusting, only to exploit that trust when it serves their agenda. Over time, manipulation can leave you feeling confused, emotionally exhausted, and unsure of yourself. You may begin to question your own judgment, wondering if you are the problem, or if you're simply being too sensitive. This is exactly what the manipulator wants. Self-doubt weakens your ability to resist their control. By the time you realize what's happening, the emotional damage may already be significant. Recognizing a manipulator in your life is essential for protecting your mental and emotional well-being. It requires you to trust your instincts, set firm boundaries, and refuse to be swayed by guilt or pressure. You must also understand that their behavior is not a reflection of your kindness or generosity. It's a reflection of their own need for control. Their agenda is self-serving, and they will continue to manipulate as long as you allow it. The perpetual victim is someone who consistently refuses to take responsibility for their own life, instead blaming others or external circumstances for their problems. They live in a mindset where they are always wronged, mistreated, or misunderstood, and everything that goes wrong is someone else's fault. This mentality prevents them from acknowledging their role in the challenges they face, and as a result, they remain stuck in a cycle of negativity and helplessness. What makes the perpetual victim so draining to those around them is their refusal to see any possibility for change or growth, as they cling to the belief that the world is simply against them. One of the most frustrating aspects of dealing with a perpetual victim is their inability to recognize patterns in their own behavior.